when I've been an employee, I just think primarily in terms of my own interests and what I want to do and what I think is right and wrong about when I clock in and clock out and use social media on the job and all sorts of things like that, and how I want to speak to coworkers and clients and superiors and managers and outside vendors. All right. But if I don't take into consideration what the boss wants, I'm not going to last long at that job. On the other hand, I have no idea of the constraints, the pressures, the considerations that my superiors and managers and bosses are under. Right? I know my own struggles. Right? I know my own temptations, say, to jump on social media during work time, but I don't know the financial constraints of my employers. I don't know their liability concerns. Right? The number one reason people get fired is because they come to be seen as a liability. And often we have no idea how our behavior, which we think is normal, natural, and healthy, and totally upright and righteous, is creating liability dangers for our employer or for our client or for our friends or for our community, right? Because we're just focused on what we need, and we don't tend to think much about what other people need. But if you're going to last long in any relationship, including with an employer or a client, a synagogue, a church, a stamp club, you have to think about what other people need. You don't take into account what your boss needs, you won't last long at your job. You're very likely to become a liability, and then you're very likely to be fired. Right. On the other hand, if you think on a frequent basis, what is it that my manager wants? What is it that my boss wants? Right. You're much more likely to be aligned with reality. Your success at work, your income, right, your career trajectory depends upon how well you meet the needs of your boss. On the other hand, you can meet the needs of your boss, but if in the course of doing so, you don't meet the needs of the bosses of your boss, right, you're going to be out on your ass. So you don't have to just think about your boss. You also have to think about your boss's boss and the ultimate boss and the corporation and the community and the synagogue, the church, the stamp club, the life-saving club. You have to think about what the club needs. You have to think about what your spouse needs. You have to think about what your friends want. If you're not thinking about your friends' needs and your friends' priorities or your church's priorities, your pastor's priorities, you are very likely to go in a different direction from where the important people in your life are going. So if you're not taking into consideration the priorities of the important people in your life, you're going to diverge from them